Hi, I'm Cindy Hedrick, and today we're reading Chapter 2, The Meaning of Fortitude. Fortitude implies not only patience, but courage and strength of character during pain, affliction, or hardship. This is a story about a horse we named Fortitude and called him 40 for short. His life started out okay, but 40 had lived with several different humans before his 23rd birthday. Those homes were good, but as he aged and did not perform for the humans as well as they wanted, they moved him to someone else. This sadly happens to many horses as they are sold and traded around throughout their lifetimes. This home was not like any of the other places he had lived. He did not have a barn or shelter, nor a fenced-in area to roam, but instead was tied on a rope to a stake that kept him from moving around much at all. The area he was tied in was marshy with mostly weeds he could not eat. He was near a dirty pond, which was supposed to be his water source. The people who lived there would come and go, but no one would go out to give this poor horse some food or clean water. I feel sure 40 wondered what he had done to deserve this life. This abuse and neglect are unforgivable to a creature who cannot help himself. 40 had to stand there in the same spot with the sun beating down on him and no shade, bugs constantly biting him, and was drenched when it rained. In cold temps, he also stood there, no shelter to block the cold wind and no way to keep warm. This horrible life went on for him for 2 years. Honestly, we were shocked he had even survived it. After being notified of this poor creature's existence, we planned to go get him. We had to call the sheriff's department to meet us there since we wanted no trouble with taking him away from this horror. Before we turn the page, this is where 40 was. Not a very good place for a horse. When we arrived, my eyes swelled with tears and my stomach felt sick. 40 came right to us, and I felt that I could hear him saying, thank you for saving me." His poor body was a wreck, so frail, weak, and malnourished. He was covered in fungus that caused him to itch constantly. He had patches of hair left from his winter coat that had not been brushed, and this was in June. Also, knots were all through his mane, and his hoofs needed work, as did his teeth. 40 mustered what strength he had left to get on the trailer, but then jumped off when we arrived because he could see and hear other horses. I'm sure he was very lonely in addition to everything else. And these are some pictures of what 40 looked like. Not in very good shape, but we're working on it. Horses like to be with herds. Their herds are their families. We got 40 settled in for the night in an area with grass and clover where he could roam and fresh clean water and a little food and hay to get him started on his road to recovery. In the days that followed, we bathed him, brushed him, applied medicine, and fed him small amounts of food several times a day. The vet came out to check on him regularly as he continued to gain strength. 40 could roam even more of the property and became quite the character. He would try to help himself to the groceries as we were putting them away, and even opened the door to one of the buildings and went inside. That was a sight to see. Once inside, he opened one of the food containers, turned it over, and had a buffet. In this story of Fortitude, something happened that I will never forget. His first night here, I was worried and he might be scared in a new place, so I took a flashlight and went out to check on him. He did look a little startled, but when I went to him and began stroking him and telling him he was all right now and he would never have to be hungry, lonely, or scared ever again, I reached up and put my arms around his neck to hug him, and he instantly put his head around my neck to hug me back. We stood there for a few seconds, embracing and sharing our love for each other. I knew he was grateful to be safe and loved. As humans, we forget we're not the only ones who feel things. Animals have feelings too. Always remember that.